Well. Hi, hey guys, Palas Ramos, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the Miami Dolphins fourth quarter of the season review. Just going over the last 4 games of the Miami Dolphins season, and yeah. So, with that being said, let's get into this video.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So, as you can see, I'm wearing my Miami Dolphins Ryan Tannehill jersey. Wearing it because the boy, he didn't do much. He did not, he threw 72 yards, and I think a touchdown. I'm pretty sure he didn't throw a touchdown. I'm not too sure. But he beat the Patriots. Like I said, Titans were going to win. And it's in large part to Derrick Henry's masterful performance. But that's not the topic of this video. But just want to put it out there. Just aggravate some Patriots fans. So, with all that being said, let's jump into the first game of the fourth quarter, where the Miami Dolphins went up to, I believe it's East Rutherford, New Jersey, and they played the New York Jets, and they lost, unfortunately, 21-22. And Dolphins almost beat the Jets solely off of field goals. Did not score a single touchdown. It's pretty unfortunate, but Jets ended up getting the final half with a game-winning field goal. Let's get into some stats. Well, scoring summary: field goal Dolphins, touchdown Jets, field goal Jets, field goal Dolphins, touchdown Jets, field goal Dolphins, field goal Dolphins, field goal Dolphins, field goal Dolphins, field goal Jets, field goal Dolphins, field goal Jets with no time left. Some other team stats: total yards 362 Miami Dolphins, 374 New York Jets. Turnovers: both teams had 1 turnover. Time of possession: Miami had the time of possession with 30 minutes and 6 seconds. Jets 29 and 54 seconds. Then on first downs, both teams had 22 first downs. And let's get into some of the leading stats on this game. We have Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the Miami Dolphins passing wise, 21 of 37, 245 yards and 1 interception. And then we also got Sam Darnold on the Jets side with 20 completions for 36 attempts, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then when it comes to rushing yards, Ryan Fitzpatrick led the Dolphins, 7 carries, 65 yards. Bilal Powell for the Jets, 19 carries, 74 yards. And then receiving yards, Isaiah Ford had a breakout game, and this is one of his first, big games as an NFL player, because most of the time he's been on the practice squad. 6 receptions, 92 yards, and then Robbie Anderson, 7 receptions, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. This wasn't the best way for the Miami Dolphins to start off the fourth quarter of the season, because they were so close in it and ended up losing by a game-winning field goal from the Jets. So that was pretty unfortunate. But it dropped the Dolphins 3-10. Meanwhile, the Jets went up to 5-8. And then when we go to the next game, same place, next following week, against the New York Giants, and Dolphins did not win that one either, unfortunately. They lost 20-36, and this time we are able to finally put touchdowns on the board. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 23 of 41, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns to Eli Manning's 20 for 28, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and yet the Dolphins still couldn't win. Patrick Laird was our leading rusher, 12 carries for 46 yards to Saquon Barkley's 24 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Devontae Parker, 4 receptions, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Sterling Shepard was their leading receptions for the Giants with 9 receptions, 111 yards. Scoring summary: we have touchdown Dolphins, touchdown Giants, field goal Dolphins, and then touchdown Giants, field goal Dolphins, safety Giants, touchdown Giants, touchdown Giants, touchdown Giants, and then touchdown Miami Dolphins. Too little, too late. Team stats: 384 total yards for the Dolphins, 412 for the Giants. Turnovers: Miami had 1, the Giants had 3. Time of possession: Dolphins had 28 minutes, 53 seconds, and the Giants had 31 minutes and 7 seconds. First downs: Dolphins had 22, Giants had 24, and at that point, it made the Dolphins go down to 3-11. Meanwhile, the Giants also went down to 3-11. And then let's take it to the Tank Bowl, where the Miami Dolphins faced off against the Cincinnati Bengals, two of the worst teams in the NFL that everyone's been saying, whatnot. But it's not the case. It's not the case with the Miami Dolphins. But the Cincinnati Bengals were down and had a 23-point fourth quarter, I believe. Let's see. They were down 12-35 and ended up tying it up with 35 on the final play of the game. And yeah, pretty upsetting, but it is what it is. Scoring summary: touchdown Dolphins, field goal Bengals, touchdown Dolphins, field goal Bengals, touchdown Dolphins, touchdown Bengals, touchdown Dolphins, touchdown Bengals, field goal Miami Dolphins with the final second in overtime to get the win. Andy Dalton went 33 for 56, 396 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 31 for 52, 419 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then we have Joe Mixon, 21 carries, 50 yards, to Myles Gaskins, 16 carries, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Tyler Boyd, 9 receptions, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Devontae Parker, 5 receptions, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah. Total yards offensively: Cincinnati Bengals 430, Miami Dolphins 502. 1 turnover for both teams. Time of possession: 33 minutes and 36 seconds for the Bengals, 36 minutes and 24 seconds for the Miami Dolphins. First downs: 25 for the Bengals, 29 for the Miami Dolphins. And the Bengals left this game 1-14. Meanwhile, the Dolphins improved to 4-11. And last but not least, the season finale, the Miami Dolphins faced off against the New England Patriots up there in Foxborough. And this was one of the Dolphins' greatest games all season, if you ask me. And they ended up winning 27-24. And great way to end off the season. 2 wins in a row. One against a team that we obviously should have beat, which was the Bengals. And then a team that we had no business in beating. And we still went in there and did it. And that was great of the Miami Dolphins. And it cost the Patriots. And that's why I'm wearing this jersey. Because, yeah, Ryan Tannehill led the Titans in there, even though he didn't do much. But anyway, scoring summary for this game was field goal Dolphins, field goal, and then touchdown Patriots. And then touchdown Dolphins, touchdown Patriots, field goal Dolphins, touchdown Patriots, and then touchdown Miami Dolphins to put themselves in the lead with 24 seconds left, and Patriots could not capitalize on anything else after that. Now, when it comes to leading passer, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick, 28 carries for 41 yards, 320 yards, 1 touchdown. And then we have Tom Brady, 16 completions for 29 attempts, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, which was a pick 6. And then we have Patrick Laird, 11 carries, 21 yards. Sony Michel, 18 carries, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. Devontae Parker, 8 receptions, 137 yards. And Philip Dorsett, 1 reception, 50 yards. Total yards, Miami Dolphins had 389 to the Patriots, 352. Patriots had 2 turnovers. The last turnover was a fumble recovery in the last final seconds. And time of possession, Dolphins 33 minutes 51 seconds, Patriots 26 minutes and 9 seconds. First downs, 26 for the Miami Dolphins, 18 for the New England Patriots. And then with that being said, I have the Dolphins improving to 5-11, Patriots down to 12-4, and not being able to get that number 2 seed, ended up getting the number 3 seed. Patriots were 12-4 at the end of the season. The Buffalo Bills were 10-6, New York Jets 7-9, and Miami Dolphins 5-11. And that put the Miami Dolphins, I believe, at the fifth seed overall in this year's draft. And with that being said, let's go to the standings real quick. We have the league standings. Bengals first pick, Redskins second pick, Lions third pick, Giants fourth pick, and the Dolphins the 5th pick in the draft. Then we have the Chargers 6th, Panthers 7th, Cardinals 8th, Cleveland 9th, Jaguars 10th, Jets 11th, Tampa Bay 12th, Atlanta 13th, Colts 14, Raiders 6, I think it's 15, 16, Broncos 17, Cowboys 18, Bears 19, Pittsburgh Steelers, and 20 we have the Rams. And then after that, Patriots should be there. Buffalo Bills should be the first one before the Patriots. Let's see, who else? Eagles should be before any of those guys. And then after the Patriots will be the Saints. And that's pretty much it, draft standing wise. Now, some other more news came out this afternoon that Tua Tagovailoa, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Tua, he declared for the NFL draft, and that pretty much, I wouldn't say assures that the Dolphins are going to pick him, but it's more than likely they're going to pick either him or Justin Herbert, and not necessarily Justin Herbert with that number 5th overall pick. But let's see, the Bengals are more than likely going to take Joe Burrow. Then the Redskins are more than likely going to take Chase Young. And then after that, it goes into limbo. The Giants are going to pick a quarterback, and the Lions are probably more than likely not going to pick a quarterback just because Matthew Stafford, I believe he's still on contract. And if not, I mean, they still have a quarterback there. And then they've been playing something Blow. He's been playing for the Lions as of late. So that leaves the Miami Dolphins with more than likely picking Tua Tagovailoa with the number 5 overall pick. It is set in stone? Absolutely not. But is it more than likely? Absolutely. Dolphins have been on this mission to get a quarterback. And if one of those two guys are on the board, Joe Burrow or Tua, I can guarantee you that would be one of the picks in this for the Miami Dolphins in the number 5th overall pick in the draft. But with all that being said, the Dolphins went 2-2 to close off their season, and finally having the final record of 5-11, which is not a horrible record if I had to say so. I mean, it is bad, obviously. It's not great. But it's a lot better than what a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people were expecting the Miami Dolphins to not even win one single game, and they did more than that. They won games to somewhat formidable opponents. I mean, we beat 2 playoff teams that I can remember of. We beat 2 playoff teams, yes. We beat the Eagles and we beat the Patriots. So it's not so bad. And we beat the Bengals and we also beat the Colts and the Jets. Besides that, I mean, Dolphins really couldn't win much. But, you know, there was a lot of highs and lows in this season. And it is what it is. Now, with all this being said, just want to go over some of the stats leaders that end off the season. Ryan Fitzpatrick leads the team in passing with an overall of 15 game plays, 331 completions, 502 attempts, 62% completion rate, 3,529 yards, and averaging 251 yards per game. He had 20 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, sacked 40 times. Let's see what else. Rushing, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick once again leading the team in a stat, and 54 attempts for 243 yards. The next leading rusher would have been Mark Walton, but he did not finish the season off with the team because of some legality issues. And yeah, now receiving, Devontae Parker came onto the scene pretty late in the year. 72 receptions, 128 yards, 1,202 yards, 128 targets is what I meant. 9 touchdowns. I believe that is a career high for him. I think everything here is a career high. Probably not the receptions, but I think it's the receptions as well. And let's see. Mike Gesicki was the next leading reception leader with 16 games, 51 receptions, 89 targets, 570 yards, 5 touchdowns. And after that was Preston Williams, surprisingly, with only 8 games under his belt, 32 receptions, 60 targets, and 428 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was leading the team for the most part of the season. And then, let's see, Jerome Baker was our leading tackler. He had 76 solo, 50 assists, 126 total. He had 1.5 sacks, and 4 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Following him was Eric Rowe, 54 solo, 27 assists, 81 total, and 1 tackle for a loss. Jerome Baker also had 6.5 tackles for a loss, 8 pass deflections for Eric Rowe, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, and 1 forced fumble. Devon Godchow, Raekwon, Vince Vigo, Jamal Wilds, Christian Wilkins, Nick Needham. All of these guys are all up there, but definitely Jerome Baker was our highlight defensive player. Speaking of defensive players, Xavier Howard got arrested. I believe it was in the middle of the week last week. Not sure what's going on with him. It was a domestic issue, but not gonna go too into detail on that. Not sure what the Dolphins' stance is on this. Just because Mark Walton this previous season had a domestic issue and then got cut pretty much instantly. But that's not the case here with Xavier Howard. We have a lot of money invested in him, and Dolphins need to do their due diligence before they make any rational move, whether it's releasing him, suspending him, and whatnot. And also should possibly let the NFL intervene and investigate in this whole thing, but also do their own due diligence. Now, when it comes to scoring, Jason Sanders was our scoring leader with 104 total points. Following him was Devontae Parker with 54, Mike Gesicki 30, Ryan Fitzpatrick 24. Even though obviously he would have more if you consider the passes that he's thrown, but I think just rushing wise he has 4 rushing TDs, and yeah. Now when it comes to returning, we have Jakeem Grant leading the team with 10 games played, 23 returns for 578 yards. Longest was 101. That was a touchdown kick return against the Bills. And then also in punts, he had 5 attempts, 6 return yards. Nothing crazy. Kicking wise, Jason Sanders played all 16 games, 23 field goals made, 30 attempted. Longest was 54, and he even has a touchdown reception as well from none and only Matt Hack, who flipped it over to him, nice and easy. He also played 16 games, 69 punts, 3,105 yards. 62 yards was his longest, and 23 of them were in the 20, and 2 of them were touchbacks, and let's see what else. That's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to do? Oh, Bobby McCain led the team with 2 interceptions. 2. It's not so good. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Just wanted to update you guys pretty much of everything that's going on. A little wild card update. So, to start off, wow, what an amazing week of wild card football. And not only that, so we had the first game to go into overtime. Texans and Bills. Bills were up 16-0. Texans came back and then forced overtime. Bills forced overtime with 19 all, and Deshaun Watson did his magic. Not only that, we also have the Patriots losing to the Titans, and Brady has thrown his last 2 interceptions have been pick sixes to former Patriots. Eric Rowe was the first one last week, and then we have Logan Ryan, former Patriot as well, doing an interception there to seal the victory for the Titans. And then when it comes to Sunday slates of game, man oh man, was that game crazy between the Vikings and the Saints. Let me know what you guys think about the final play. Was it a push-off or whatnot? How do you feel about that overall thing? And yeah, so the Vikings won that one in overtime. Kirk Cousins delivered a nice pass to, I think it's Kyle Rudolph, tight end there. And then also, last but not least, Seattle Seahawks beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz went out and got injured. in the first quarter of his first ever playoff game, because the past, I believe, two years, the Eagles have gone to the playoffs without Carson Wentz being their starting quarterback. Nick Foles has had to lead the way for the Eagles in all these 2 years of playoff time. And unfortunately, it's over for them. It sucks. They had a late surge and ended up winning the NFC East. And it sucks to have it all come crashing down when your star quarterback gets hurt early on in the game. But it is what it is. Seahawks advance. And now, the schedule for the divisional round is going to be, we have Minnesota Vikings at the San Francisco 49ers on Saturday, 4:35. And then we have the Tennessee Titans facing off the Baltimore Ravens at 8:15. And then on Sunday, we have the Houston Texans going to Kansas City at 3:05, playing at 3:05. And then Seattle Seahawks at the Green Bay Packers kicking off at 6:40. So that is your updates. Obviously, there's going to be game picks for those. I'll just have to wait for when me and Matt can record it. But anyways, that is pretty much it. That is your fourth quarter of the season, Miami Dolphins season review. And then not only that, we also have some wildcard updates and just overall NFL talk. So, hope you guys all enjoyed that. And if you did, make sure to leave a nice thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the post notification bell option if you haven't done it yet. And check out my Twitter and Instagram at @ByAustinRamos. Check out ByAustinRamos.com. And last but not least, always and forever, fins up.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.